Good morning, everyone. Once again, it's Amish here again in front of you with the seventh lecture of chapter solution. So, today we are going to see some numericals based on Rawls' law for volatile solute and non volatile solutes. So, let's begin with the first numerical of today, that is vapor pressure of chloroform formula CaCl3 and dichloromethane formula CH2Cl2 at 298 Kelvin are 200 mm of Hg and 415 mm of Hg. So first question is calculate vapor pressure of solution prepared by mixing 25.5 gram of chloroform CaCl3 and 40 gram of CH2Cl2 at 298 Kelvin. Second question, mole fraction of each component in vapor phase. In this, they are asking for the vapor pressure of solution and mole fraction of each component in vapor phase. So, what is given? So, vapor pressure of chloroform and dichloromethane are given 200 and 415 mm of Hg. So, let's begin with the P total. So, what will the total pressure? So total pressure will be equals to partial pressure of chloroform plus partial pressure of dichloromethane. So we can apply the formula for chloroform PCH3 that is the partial vapor pressure of chloroform is equals to mole fraction of chloroform into vapor pressure of chloroform in pure state. So in question it is given vapor pressure of chloroform is given, vapor pressure of dichloromethane is also given. So just we will go with the formula moles of chloroform. What will the formula of moles of chloroform? That will be equals to given mass by molecular mass. So number of moles of chloroform will be mass is given, molecular mass of chloroform we will calculate, that comes equals to 119.5 gram, that is equals to 0.213 mole. So by that way we'll get the number of moles of chloroform, because number of moles of chloroform is required to get the partial pressure of both, because vapor pressure in pure state P naught is given, mole fraction is required. So to get the mole fraction we need what? Mole. So therefore we need to calculate the number of moles for chloroform also and number of moles of dichloromethane also. So same way number of moles of dichloromethane we can calculate. It is given, mass is given 40 gram for dichloromethane and molecular mass of dichloromethane will come 85. So by that way we'll get the number of moles, that is equals to 0.47 moles. So we have got the number of moles of both. Now we need to calculate the mole fraction of any one. We can get the another one by subtracting with 1. So now we have the mole fraction of chloroform, number of moles of chloroform divided by number of moles of chloroform plus number of moles of dichloromethane. So by this way we get the mole fraction of chloroform, that comes equals to 0.312. For getting the mole fraction of dichloromethane you don't need to calculate the same way, but just subtract the mole fraction of chloroform with 1, you will get the mole fraction of dichloromethane, as the number of mole fraction of solute plus mole fraction of solvent is equals to 1. So by subtracting with 1 we get the mole fraction of other one. So same we have done here, that the mole fraction of dichloromethane equals to 0.688. Now using the equation 3 of Rawls law, everyone know what in equation 3 what it was. So that was total pressure equals to P naught A plus P naught B minus P naught A into XB. So that was the formula. So by applying to get the total pressure, as question is asking for the total pressure, vapor pressure, so just apply it. Now we have got P naught A, that is equals to 200, P naught B is 415, P naught A is 200 into XB we have calculated, that is 0.6. XB means the mole fraction of dichloromethane, that is 0.688. So just solve it, will get the total pressure comes equals to 347.9 mm of Hg. So total pressure comes to be equals to this. So we have solved question number 1, part 1 of question 1. Now we are going with the second part. Question was mole fraction of each component in vapor phase. So if it is vapor phase, so we need to get the partial pressure of the two, not the mole fraction. So the second one, pressure of dichloromethane is equals to mole fraction of dichloromethane into vapor pressure in pure state of dichloromethane. So we have the mole fraction of dichloromethane 0.688 and vapor pressure in pure state we have 414 given in question. So by that we will get the partial pressure of dichloromethane, that comes to 85.5 mm. Same way you will calculate partial pressure for chloroform CaCl3. Mole fraction of chloroform is given. Vapor pressure of chloroform in pure state is also given in question. So just calculate it, we'll get 62.4 mm of Hg. Now we can apply the formula here. Partial pressure by total pressure will get the mole fraction of component in pure state. Now question number 20 of NCR 2.8 of NCRT internal, we have the question is the vapor pressure of pure liquid A and B are 450 and 700 mm. So pure state means what? P naught is given, P naught value is given, Hg at 350 Kelvin. Question is find out composition of liquid mixture if total vapor pressure is 600 mm of Hg. Total pressure is given, P total is given, P naught is given. Also find composition of vapor phase. So in composition of vapor phase means what? So they are asking for the mole fraction of the first one A also and mole fraction of B, that is the composition. So let's begin with the answer. So we have given P naught A is given 450, P naught B is given 700, P total is given 600 mm. So we have to calculate what? So question is asking for the composition of liquid mixture. They are asking for the number of P total. What will the P total in last, and then they are asking for the mole fraction. So let's begin applying Raoult's law. Pa equals to Xa into P naught A, Pb equals to Xb into P naught B. So can we take Pb equals to 1 minus Xa into P naught B according to equation 3rd. So just you can apply it here also. P total is equals to Pa plus Pb. So that is equation 3 only, that Xa into P naught A plus 1 minus Xa P naught B. The same value is being used here. So finally we will get what? P total is equals to Xa P naught A minus P naught B plus P naught B. So substituting the values here, what will get? P total is given 600, P total is given 600, Xa the value of Xa is not known, mole fraction of A, P naught A is given, P naught B is given plus P naught B is given. So we will just get what? The mole fraction of Xa. So finally we will get the mole fraction of Xa. Now composition of liquid mixture will be what? So mole fraction of Xa is given. So what we'll do, finally subtract it with 1, we'll get the mole fraction of B. So by this way we'll get the composition of the mixture. Just by applying the value on equation 3 of Raoult's law, we'll get the entire things here. Now second question also asks for the composition in vapor phase. Composition in vapor phase. Now to find the mole fraction in vapor phase, we will apply the formula of Raoult's law for volatile solid, that is Pa equals to Xa into P naught A. Till here we have got the composition. Composition means mole fraction of Xa and mole fraction of Xb from the equation 3 of Raoult's law. Now question 2 is asking for mole fraction in vapor phase. So to get the mole fraction in vapor phase, we need to know the partial pressure. So for getting partial pressure, what we'll do, we'll get with the formula of Raoult's law for volatile solute, that is Xa into P naught A. Just apply it. Pa equals to Xa into P naught A. Finally we'll get 180 for Pa. For Pb we'll get 420 mm. Now mole fraction of Xa. Mole fraction of Xa in vapor phase equals to, here we'll not use the mole fraction value, but we'll use the value of partial pressure. So Pa divided by Pa plus Pb, so finally we'll get this value Same way for mole fraction of B in vapor phase. That is, this formula is used for vapor phase. So in vapor phase we'll use simply same way 1 minus 0.30, you will get 0.70, the mole fraction of B in vapor phase. If it is asking for vapor phase, then we have to apply this value. If it is asking for the composition, you will use equation 3. Just get the value of XA and XB, that's all. So till here we have got the numericals, two numericals we have done. Now we are proceeding with the ideal and non-ideal solution, whom we call ideal solution, whom we call non-ideal solution. So on the basis of Raoult's law, liquid solution can be classified into ideal and non-ideal solution. So it is for which one? Liquid in liquid. Raoult's law for volatile solute. For Raoult's law for volatile solute, it is classified into ideal and non-ideal solution. Now whom we call ideal solution? The solution in which solute-solute interaction in pure state and solvent-solvent interaction in pure state are almost similar to the solute-solvent interaction. What does it mean? So when we mix the solute-solute, two solute, and in pure state, when we mix the two solvent-solvent in pure state, then when we mix the solute and solvent, then they are almost similar. So what solute-solute interaction is, the same will be solute-solvent interaction. That is the one definition. What other definition says? That is more basic, which you need to remember. An ideal solution is that solution in which each component obeys Raoult's law. So whom we call ideal solution? So ideal solution is one which obeys Raoult's law under all condition of temperature and concentration. Under all condition of temperature and concentration. So whatever be the condition, temperature and concentration condition, it will obey, the ideal solution will obey the Raoult's law. So it has to satisfy the 2 points. So as to satisfy the following condition, what is first condition? There will be no change in volume on mixing the two components. So when we mix the two components, that is the solute solvent, so there should not come any change in volume. The volume, if it is in pure state, the volume is same after mixing. Suppose if solute is 5, volume is 5 centimeter cube. Solvent volume is also 5 centimeter cube. After mixing, it should be 10 centimeter cube. If it deviates, if it gets more than 10, if it gets less than 10, then in that case it will not follow ideal solution. That will be non-ideal solution. Therefore, it is said that there should not be no change in volume on mixing two components. That is, del V, change in volume of mixing, del V mixing equals to 0. The second point is, there will be no change in enthalpy. So first one is no change in volume. Second important satisfying point is, there is no change in enthalpy, energy. That is, no heat is evolved or absorbed. So there is no change in enthalpy, no heat is evolved or absorbed. Means when we mix it, there is no production of heat, there is no absorption of heat. When two components are mixed. So when two components are mixed, there should not be any change in enthalpy. That is, del H mixing equals to 0. Del H mixing should be 0, or del H dilute solution, when they are mixed in dilute solution, that will be equals to 0. So for example, when mix 50 centimeter cube of benzene C6H6 with 50 centimeter cube of toluene, the volume of solution is found to be 100 centimeter cube. 100 centimeter, 50 plus 50, 100. So that is, del V mixing is 0, del H mixing is 0. So that is only the Raoult's law. That is called the Raoult's law. So when volume of solution is found to be 100 centimeter cube, if there is no change in volume, 50 plus 50 is 100. So therefore there is no change in enthalpy, del V mixing 0, del H mixing is also 0. Now with the help of graph, we have seen the Raoult's law. In Raoult's law, this type of curve, this type of structure, there also, that for partial pressure of A, and here this is the curve for partial pressure of B, and this is for the mole fraction. So if mole fraction of A is 1, then that time mole fraction of B is taken as 0, and we plot the curve. So what we'll get? So we'll get the plot for PB here, and same way if we take x a equals to 0, x b equals to 1, x b equals to 1, then what we'll get? We'll get the curve for PA, and when the place where they are cutting each other, that place will get the total pressure. Total pressure P is equals to partial pressure of A plus partial pressure of B. So that gives a straight line, that's showing that the curve is increasing. So therefore an ideal solution is that in which no volume change and no enthalpy change takes place on mixing the solute and solvent in any proportion. So if you mix solute and solvent in any proportion, if it is ideal solution, there is no change in volume, there is no change in enthalpy. If component A and B of a solution is ideal, if intermolecular interaction between component A and B, AB interaction, are of same magnitude as intermolecular interaction found in pure component AA and BB, AA and BB. Now practically no solution is ideal. So practically there is no solution which is ideal solution. That is imagination, hypothetical concept. So where concentration of solute is very low, solution behaves ideally. So one condition is there when the solution behaves like ideal solution, when concentration of solute is very low. In that case, the solution behaves ideally. Very low, solution behaves ideally. So therefore very dilute solution are nearly ideal. Substances having similar structure and polarities, and substances have similar structure and polarities that can also have ideal like character. So some examples are given which are nearly ideal solution. First example is of benzene plus toluene. So benzene and toluene shows ideal like behavior. Second example is of N-hexane, normal hexane and normal heptane. Normal hexane and normal heptane also show same type of ideal like behavior. The third example is of ethyl bromide plus ethyl chloride. So they also show ideal behavior. Fourth example is of chlorobenzene plus bromobenzene. So chlorobenzene and bromobenzene are the examples of ideal solution, not the example, but they are nearly which follows ideal solution, which have ideal solution like character. Now we have non-ideal solution. So whom we call non-ideal, which do not follow Rod's law and whose del V does not equals to 0, del H does not equals to 0, that will be non-ideal. Let's see. A non-ideal solution is that in which solute solvent interaction solute solvent molecule interact with one another with a different force than the force of interaction between molecules of pure components. So if the molecules of pure components are mixing, and if we are mixing the two different components, then different forces comes into action. Then another definition, a solution which does not obey Rod's law is called non-ideal solution. For such a solution, del V mixing does not equals to 0, del H mixing does not equals to 0. For example, when we mix H2SO4 solute in water solvent, the amount of heat generated is very large and change in volume is also observed. This is due to the formation of non-ideal solution. So that the example is given. So when we mix the H2SO4 solute in water, so the heat is generated is too much and volume also get change in volume is also observed. So therefore mixing of H2SO4 in water is non-ideal solution example. Or one more definition, a non-ideal solution is that solution in which solute and solvent molecules interact with one another with a different forces then the forces of attraction between molecules of pure components. Same thing is written here also, same definition. So when they are mixed, so different forces are coming into action and force of attraction of then the force of attraction in the pure state. Now non-ideal solution is of two type of non-ideal solution. First one is non-ideal solution showing positive deviation. So non-ideal solution which is showing positive deviation from ideal behavior. Let's see, when component B is added to another component A, the partial pressure of A is found to be more than the expected on the basis of Raoult's law. So it is seen that the partial pressure of A is more than that of B. So what will have in that case? So a similar effect is seen in component B in reverse mixing. So B also show the same, that is that shows more deviation. The total vapor pressure for any solution is thus greater than the corresponding to an ideal solution of same composition. Such behavior of solution is described as positive deviation. So if the curve is getting more than the ideal behavior, then it shows more line from the ideal behavior. So here we have the curve. So we have seen the plot of ideal behavior for Raoult's law for ideal solution. We have seen the line. Here also we have, but what we are saying that this broken line shows the actual position in case of ideal behavior. But this the lines which are going above it shows that Raoult's law is showing that is showing the positive deviation, means that they are going away from the ideal behavior and they are getting more. The change in volume is getting more, the change in enthalpy is getting more. So in that case their curve will get elongated, that will be more than ideal behavior. So this broken line shows the ideal line in case of ideal solution, and this line which is above this ideal line shows that the vapor pressure of solute, and this one shows the vapor pressure of solvent. So by this way we see that the elongated curve is shown which show positive deviation from ideal behavior. The same thing is shown with the language. The boiling point of such solution are relatively lowered as compared to those of pure component, but then the total vapor pressure will be high. So keep in mind that if it is non-ideal solution showing positive deviation, then boiling point of such solution are relatively lower. So boiling point will be low. So if the boiling point is low, at low boiling point temperature they give more vapor pressure. So if they are giving more vapor pressure, then the curve will also be more. So therefore we are getting the elongated curve here. So keep in mind for Raoult's law for negative deviation, non-ideal solution showing negative deviation, the boiling point of such solution will be lowered as compared to that of the pure component, but the total vapor pressure will be high. Boiling point will be low, but the total vapor pressure will be high. Therefore the curve is getting higher. Curve is getting higher. Why? Because boiling point of such solution is low. So if boiling point is low, more vapor pressure will be formed at low temperature. So therefore vapor pressure will be high. So keep in mind for non-ideal solution showing negative deviation, their boiling point will be low, but the vapor pressure, formation of total vapor pressure will be high. One technical term is here which you need to remember: azeotropic mixture, whom we call azeotropic mixture. Liquid mixture which distills without change in composition, that is the main word. The mixture which distills without change in composition are called azeotropic mixture. So the liquid mixture which distills, which do the process of distillation without change in composition, there is no change in their composition, in liquid mixture composition, then such mixture are called azeotropic mixture. In case of solution showing positive deviation, we get minimum boiling point or minimum boiling azeotrope. So that is also called minimum boiling azeotrope. So what azeotrope you have to remember: for positive deviation, the minimum boiling azeotrope is observed. Finally, the positive deviation are exhibited by liquid pairs for which AB molecular interaction forces are lower than AA or BB molecular force, intermolecular force of attraction. So keep in mind positive deviation are exhibited by liquid pair in which AB molecular interactive forces are lower, they are weaker. So solutes, so for example solute solvent, if the solid solvent molecules are getting interacted, so their force of interaction will be weak in comparison to pure solute and pure solvent force of molecular force of attraction. For example, we have the example, for example, mixing of ethanol, that is A, and cyclohexane, that is B, show positive deviation. So mixing of A ethanol and B show positive deviation. How? In pure ethanol, a very high fraction of molecules are hydrogen bonded. So just keep in mind, in ethanol, so they are hydrogen bonded already. Ethanol formula is C2H5OH. You can see the structure here. C2H5OH. So C2H5OH, it is drawn in such a way, another molecule of C2H5OH. So in between the O of one ethanol and in between the H of another ethanol, O and H comes in direct contact, delta positive, delta negative comes into action, and they forms hydrogen bond shown with 3 broken lines. Same way from the right hand side, another C2H5OH molecule and the middle C2H5OH molecule O and his H combines to form hydrogen bond. So keep in mind that in ethanol hydrogen bond is present. So therefore the force of attraction between the ethanol molecule is much higher. Then what happens next? On adding cyclohexane or acetone, its molecule gets in between the molecules of ethanol, thus breaking hydrogen bond and reducing ethanol-ethanol attraction. So what happens when we mix ethanol? When we mix cyclohexane to ethanol, so what they do, that they comes in between the molecules and they breaks the hydrogen bond. So hydrogen bond get breaks when we mix the cyclohexane to ethanol. Same thing is written, on adding cyclohexane or acetone, its molecules get in between the molecules of ethanol, thus breaking hydrogen bond and reducing ethanol-ethanol interaction. Then example 2 can be carbon disulfide CS2 is added to acetone. Solute solvent dipole interaction is weaken the intermolecular spaces in between them. Next point, in case of positive deviation, a slight increase in volume and absorption of heat takes place on mixing as expected. So when we do in positive deviation, what we see, that there is slight increase in volume gets increased, and heat of absorption also gets increases. Therefore in both the cases, mixing as expected, del V and del H both are positive. The value of both of them gets positive. So what are the other examples of Raoult's law for non-ideal solution showing positive deviation? So other examples are acetone plus carbon disulfide. Second, acetone plus ethanol, C2H5OH. Third, acetone plus benzene show positive deviation. Methyl alcohol plus H2O show positive deviation. C2H5OH ethyl alcohol plus H2O show positive deviation. Same way, CCl4 plus CHCl3 show positive deviation. CCl4 plus benzene show positive deviation. Same way, CCl4 plus toluene show positive deviation. So these all are the examples of non-ideal solution showing positive deviation. So sometime examples may be asked.